Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. So the prosecutor in Lane Meyer's case has filed an opposition to his motion to modify his probation. You will notice, if you bother to peruse it, that first of all, it's very well laid out, succinct. Here's the procedural position that we're in. Here are the specific terms of his probation that he wants modified, and here's why it should not be modified. You'll notice, again, if you look at it, that she only cites Arizona state cases. Weird how I told you, and Lane didn't believe, that if you're not citing state law cases in a state law criminal issue, you're probably doing something wrong. Because you get the general idea from the U.S. Supreme Court case, but then it gets filtered down through the court systems. The Arizona Supreme Court will have applied that particular U.S. case to more particular facts. The Court of Appeals in Arizona will have applied that particular case and the Arizona Supreme Court cases on it to even more particular facts. And so you're going to find a more granular case that's more tailored to your specific issues, because your issues are related to state law. I know there's a principle out there that the Supreme Court has addressed, but your issues are directly related to state law and how the state has interpreted the Supreme Court principles and interpreted them into the state law. So I do know what I'm talking about, because I'm an attorney and I know how attorneys think, and DAs are attorneys and they use state law on state law cases. And judges are also attorneys and they use state law on state law cases. It's crazy how that works. Again, if you are citing to Supreme Court cases, you're probably doing something wrong. I mean, there are some times out there where you have to, just for the proposition, then you make an argument for your interpretation of how it should affect the law. But 99 times out of 100, if you're citing Supreme Court cases, you're probably doing something wrong. If you're citing federal cases in a state case, then you're probably doing something wrong. You've probably missed something and you should go back and look again. Again, it may happen, but very rarely. So I do know what I'm talking about, believe it or not. So she has a very good argument as to why his motion to modify bond conditions should be denied, and that is based on evidence gathered without the use of snitches directly from the victim and publicly available on YouTube. So our boy wonder, Lane Myers, has decided in his infinite wisdom to continue to interact with people who he is ordered by the terms of his probation to not interact with, who, if I remember correctly, did everything in their power to nuke his chances of getting a good outcome in his criminal action. And I warned about him associating with these other guys then, and he didn't listen to me, he didn't listen to the court. He went and got some confidential materials that he has access to because he's the defendant, and then he decided to disseminate them to these other YouTube channels, who, having no skin in the game and getting all the clicks and views and ad revenue off of posting these things, they're not the ones who are going to go to jail over it. They're not, or prison, or have their probation revoked. It's going to be Lane Myers. And they don't give a shit about you, Lane Myers. I just want to be clear about that. They do not give a shit about you. Your health and well-being is not registering. They're saying all the words, but look at what they do. What they do gets you in trouble. And you're not smart enough to figure that out, and I know you're going to defend them, but just remember I told you. Twice now, at least. So they know it was Lane Myers who did it, because Lane Myers was the only person who had access to the information, and so he's the one who gave it to them. And if they got it, that means he's been communicating with them, And so they know that he's violating his probation conditions. And the victim is receiving harassing messages, emails from people who are ostensibly supporting Lane Myers, but they're not. Again, their actions speak louder than their words. They're doing things that are going to get Lane in trouble. They're not supporting you, Lane. Their words sound like they're supporting you, but their actions tell a different story. They're nuking you. And you might think my words say that I'm not supporting you, but the entire time, through your entire criminal process, I've been hoping for a good outcome for you. I think my actions speak louder than how you perceive my words, because I have been trying to give you an understanding of the predicament you're in. And I've suggested multiple times that you shouldn't interact with these guys and you shouldn't communicate with these guys. You should shut up, shut the fuck up, get through your probation, and, pull your head out of your ass long enough for your brain to get some oxygen, dude. You're just doing all the wrong things. And Lord have mercy on you, because what the prosecutor said after laying out all of this information about known probation violations is that the prosecutor is going to seek a motion to modify or revoke probation. Lane Myers could be going to prison. Now, I don't hope he goes to prison. I hope he shuts his fucking mouth and stays off YouTube and is a good little boy, gets a job somewhere, makes enough money to support a family, gets married, has babies, and lives a long, happy life. I don't want him to be somebody's girlfriend in prison. That's not what I want for him. And I know a lot of people are filled with hate and want that for him, but that's not me. So this saga isn't done. When Lane Myers said that this case is far from over, I think he's right. Because I think we got another motion coming. I don't think he's going to prevail on this particular motion to modify. And depending on all the stuff that the prosecutor comes up with, he might well lose her motion to modify or revoke. And I told him, I said, hey, look, man, just because your probation officer, didn't hem you up right then and there, the fact that he was talking about you means they know. He wouldn't talk to you about it if it was not a thing, if it wasn't a concern, but he talked to you about it. That was your sign. And I said, it's probably on some low-level associate DA's desk right now, just getting compiled, waiting for that associate DA to find the time to draft the motion to revoke your probation. And that's apparently where it's at. It's almost like I know some things. I feel bad for you, dude. I feel bad for you. You're all of this is entirely of your own choice, entirely of your own doing. And I hope somehow you find a way to break this cycle, because this is just not going good for you. People are saying like, oh, him asking for your home address and stuff, isn't that harassing? I'm not going to press charges on you, dude. I'm not going to press charges. I'm not concerned about you. I'm not harassed. The only phone call I got was from you. I mean, like, your little minions aren't coming chasing after me. I'm not saying I wouldn't eventually do something if it got bad enough, but that mentality, that I'm going to ruin you kind of mentality over the smallest of slights, like being tagged, I'm going to ruin you, bro, relax. Take a chill pill. Stop doing the drugs. Get mental health help. Something. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.